Welcome to Exit the Matrix, Stories of Success, with your host, Jane Slack-Smith, where we celebrate the incredible journeys of individuals who've transcended their limitations and achieved extraordinary success.
Hello and welcome to today's episode, where we're honoured to have Miranda Marriott as our guest. Now, Miranda is an extraordinary person that I have known for a number of years now, and she really epitomises resilience and transformation, and that's why I really wanted to introduce you to her. Now, Miranda's journey spans over 16 years, and she has had a profound journey of personal growth and dedication to actually assisting her clients. But first of all, it wasn't all easy for her. She dedicated 8 years to studying psychology and business at various esteemed institutions. She armed herself with the knowledge, and that has become the cornerstone of her professional life. Now, her path has not been straightforward. Miranda has navigated through a labyrinth of life's toughest challenges. She's battled mental health issues, overcoming eating disorders, facing job loss, enduring financial hardship, navigating unhealthy relationships, surviving a divorce, and embracing the responsibilities of being a single parent. And each of these experiences has shaped her into the remarkable individual I can't wait to introduce you to. Now, 6 years ago, with a vision to provide for her young son and to carve out a life filled with freedom and purpose, Miranda embarked on an entrepreneurial journey and founded her coaching business. Now, this venture was more than a career move. It was a realization of a lifelong dream to make a meaningful impact and contribute positively to the lives of others. However, the road was not so smooth and was fraught with some obstacles. And despite her relentless efforts, working over 50 hours a week, and as a new mother as well, and investing over $650,000 in coaching and in her business, and trying NLP and RTT and EFT and hypnosis and inner child work and manifestation and marketing consultants and Facebook ads and networking, and you get the picture. She tried everything. All she was trying to do was create consistent months of $10,000 to give her and her son the freedom that they wanted. But then everything changed. There was a tide that changed, and she has been on such a remarkable journey, and hence why I can't wait to introduce you to her today. Hello, Miranda, and welcome to Exit the Matrix.
Hey, Jane. I'm very excited to be here and talk to you again.
Absolutely. Well, Miranda, your journey, just listening to that, it has been one of profound kind of, it sounds overwhelming and exhausting. And just when you get to one point, something kind of hits you in the face.
Yeah.
Tell me about the sliding door moment for you, that moment where there was an observation or a learning or an aha that went, actually, I'm not doing what I want to do. There's something else out there for me.
Yeah. Well, I felt like, as you heard there, like I had a lifetime of battling and struggling and the victim and pain and powerlessness. And it was very much like the outside world was against me and I couldn't do anything to create what I wanted because it didn't matter. And I was a hard worker. I was a hustler. I was, this battler that I wouldn't just give up. Like I would go for everything, but I kept getting back to square one or minus 50 million, like that, And yeah, I suppose, the big shift that happened for me, firstly, is that before, and I really do have this month, and I know the month, it was like literally a before and an after point, a BC and an AD for me. And it just never went back again. But before that point, I'd thought everything outside of me dictated how worthy I was or how unworthy I was. I was a single mom and my husband left when I was pregnant. And so that meant I'm unworthy, or I don't have any money in my bank account. So that means I'm poor and I lack and I can't have abundance and I can't feel abundant. And so everything was determined outside of me, and I started to learn energy work and I started to stumble across, this natural success, super conscious work, and at the same time, some other energy work, soul work that I was doing right at this same month. And after I encountered it, it was sort of, I looked at it for a while. It was tapping on me for a while, but it was like finally the penny dropped and it was like, everything outside is a projector of what's inside. Everything is just like a mirror of what's happening in here. So if I shift in here and I start feeling abundant, and actually, even though my outside doesn't say it, I feel it, I meditate on it, I imagine it, I feel, then actually, and I take action that is in alignment of abundance or love or whatever it was, then I can create that. But until I do it, I can't, because if it's not in here, it won't be out there. And so there was this 1 month that I went so internal and I did so much energy stuff and I kept shifting to abundance, shifting to love, not coming from a place of like, I'm broken, I'm unworthy, I need to be fixed because look, I'm single and I've got all this stuff I want and I don't have it. But going, no, I'm actually whole right now. Like I'm a human who's worthy of love right now, and I'm abundant right now, and I kept seeing that and looking for the evidence of where that was true. And that month I went from $20,000 of debt to a $20,000 month. And I literally have never gone back with money ever again. My health's improved every step of the way, every month again. The love in my life's gone up thousands of percent. It's like everything just changed, at that point.
So people who are listening to this, they're like, oh yeah, I read The Secret. She kind of internalized and visualized it and it just turned up. Yeah. But what they missed there is that you took action. So tell me about that feeling of, I've spent $650,000 on people trying to fix me, and it's actually me being the preeminent, creator in my life. Tell me a bit about that and how that felt for you.
Well, I guess the thing is everyone has a predominant way of operating, and a weak point, right? For me, the weak point wasn't in that I follow through action. Like I'm got that in spades. My weak point was that I wasn't actually getting aligned first, and I wasn't working on my insides, to be in alignment with the action that I was taking, So I always tell clients, it's like, if we're trying to shoot for a target, but we're not in a line and we're shooting the opposite way or we're shooting everywhere, it's like, you're not going to hit it. Like you can shoot and take as much action as you want, which is what I was doing, but you're not hitting anything because you're not in alignment with abundance. You're not feeling that sense. You can't shoot for abundance. It's just a complete opposite direction, So I guess one thing for me is that I talk about attraction a lot. I talk about manifesting and I do that work, and that's when I'm aligned to take the sniper action. Like I'm a sniper with my focus versus before when I was just like rapid fire everywhere and it wasn't working. So that's one piece I want to say about the action attraction distinction. Like they're both required. And I guess as well around this not needing to be fixed, like my whole life, I just assumed these things were true about me, that I'm unworthy, I'm not enough. And so I constantly had this preoccupation with like, I need to go and create a business or make money or get a partner or have a good body or whatever I went for. It was because then I would prove that I'm whole. Then I'd prove that I'm beautiful, I'm worthy. And then I'd get what I want. The whole underlying reason where it was coming from for me was I'm actually not enough, or I'm actually not worthy, or I'm actually, a loser who doesn't deserve any money. So every time I went towards money or anything, it just, one, would be stuck and not move anywhere. Or two, I may start to make some progress, but it wouldn't last because I didn't feel actually worthy of it and abundant. So, I would get rid of it and go straight back to square one again.
Now, a quick word from our sponsor, Your Success Club. Your Success Club is a group of vibrant, abundance seekers. If you subscribe to exitthematrix.io, we are going to drop you into the club room, which has lots of goodies, resources, and a free gift just for subscribing. Now, back to the podcast. So tell me, this kind of understanding that you have, this unworthiness, this not enough. We don't kind of suddenly get this lightning bolt at 16 or 26 or 36 that goes, da-da, this is what's been playing out. Obviously, you were working, to create situations. There's a condition. If I am successful in this, or if I'm beautiful, or if I'm, a wife, a mother, or whatever it is, I'm going to get love and acceptance because of it. Was there a moment where you had that clarity that these stories or these patterns were actually being created for you?
Yeah, I started the natural success work and the superconscious work. And I mean, because I had studied so many pieces up until this point, I'd looked at, as we know, the gamut of models and, programs and all the things before. And I guess the main difference that happened here is that I had that awareness of what the core root of these beliefs and these pieces. But I'd actually realized that I don't need to clear it, and I don't need to do all this work understanding every single moment that came from and exactly where and when. There was one point I did a 12-hour breakthrough thing where I had to understand every single thing and go through every amount of my timeline and all the things it was connected to. And that was meant to clear all these emotions and I'd never have them again. A month later, lo and behold, I got triggered, had these emotions again. And it, again, just fed this thing of I'm powerless, I can't control this. I keep going back to the same thing. And so one of the main things that I learned with the superconscious is that it's my unconscious isn't going away. And these things are never going away. These beliefs aren't, these emotions aren't, and they don't need to.
Mm.
And that was so revealing for me because I'd spent most of that money, most of that time and years of trying to undo it and clear it and move on. And it was depressing. And because I just kept going back and I just thought I felt defeated, you know? And so the main thing is like, I can have a deep awareness of this and I can really know where I'm coming from here and get it really deeply, but that's all I need to do with that. And then I can leave it there, say it and send it love, and then go on with, I still can create because none of that's actually really true. And that's not who I really am. Who I really am is this superconscious force, this creative, powerful being who all of us are. We're all worthy. We all have, all of that's made up, and so I don't even have to give it a lot of energy. I can see that's there and then go back to who I really am and then move from that space, move from the wholeness, move from my power, move from my genius,
It's such a relief, right, to get that awareness that you don't have to fix anything. It's just life. There's situations that happen. It's just life. And 12 hours on breakthrough all of your emotions, but it sets yourself up, right, for another situation that says, well, you're going to get triggered by something. There's going to be an experience. And then your mental state goes, well, I don't have this anymore. And you can let all these other things slip. So I think it's really important to distinguish that kind of sliding door moment for you, which is, I've got to fix myself and do all the work, to, in actual fact, it's just information. The world's about energy. I'm going to internalize what I want to create, understand how that abundance works with me, and come from my heart.
Yeah. And, there was something that was so key that I remember learning quite early in this piece. And it was like, we can choose to focus on our past and all the thoughts and emotions and identities and all the things and put the energy there. And then we'll just keep recreating that. We're in this sort of time machine that just keeps going through the future, living the past in our life. And that's all I kept doing. Same patterns, same problems, same relationships, like repeat. And when I realized I can do that, or I can also just put more power and energy and time and focus in what my imagination wants and what I would love. And, and literally it was like a seesaw. I just put less energy there and put less focus there. And I put more into my power, more into my imagination, more into what I'd love. Yeah. And throughout the day, just kept going, oh yeah, I'm scared about this, or I'm feeling this. Yep. But I want this, and I would just do that. And it didn't even have to be that 100% of the time I was on fire, on point, high vibe and all. It's like, no, just slight majority. It's just a seesaw. It's a slight majority and it pulls in. Yeah.
And, I guess the opposite of what we're talking about abundance, which is where you were, was that poverty and scarcity. And you've just said, it can come up 100 times a day for you, but there's an awareness in how you course correct. Do you have a process where you have that awareness and how you talk yourself up into, going for the higher?
I think the thing I just want to say with what you said there is that you really need to know it is a constant practice. I have a lot of money now, a lot of money coming in, a lot of money in my bank account. I still get fear and scarcity. It's in our egoic nature. It's our unconscious's preoccupation, so it doesn't matter. The external amount isn't the thing. It's just continuing to monitor and work with this. So I still work with this. It's a relationship. I always do. But one of the easiest things I do and the key things is a truth and a vision circle, but I actually just step into the truth. And when I step into the truth of right now or the current reality, I really just give presence to whatever's coming up for me. And I sort of have this free association, just ramble to myself out loud often about how I'm feeling, what's coming up, what's alive, what I'm afraid of. And I just let it go, because sometimes we don't even know what's wrong, going on. And as I go, oh, and it starts to get to like the core thing. I'm like, oh my goodness, and I didn't even know that was an issue or that was coming up for me. And so I'll do a truth circle like that. And then I'll stop that when it feels complete. And then I'll go into a vision of like, yeah, this is all possible, but I want this. I love this. I see this. I desire that. I am this, I'm powerful here, or this is the truth of me. Or so I literally like, that will probably be I call it a pivoting tool, but I pretty much, will do that at different points in the days. Now I don't need to do it as often, but if I am dysregulated in my nervous system or I'm triggered or like I may have to do it more. And then when I've gone into the vision, I'm in that, I'm like, okay, so for my retreat, for instance, I might do the truth of what's coming up and then I'll go back into the vision and then I'll go, all right, what's obvious? Like, is there something, and sometimes it's to act this way. Sometimes it's go have a bath, whatever. So say, what's next for this, Yeah.
And what's the next obvious action? And it's taking the action. And okay, so we've gone from the lifestyle of scarcity and this difficulty of trying to work it all out to this awareness place where it's, you creating this abundance and a mindset and philosophy and then taking action on that. So how has life changed for you? What's it look like now?
Yeah, well, I mean, at that sliding door moment, as I said, I got into 20K debt, and nearly a month or two or more of that, I would have had to leave my house, and I didn't know where I was going to live. So it could have been homeless, single mum, type statistic, of under the poverty line, that sort of thing. And then after this point of these big changes in that 1 month, I went on to more 10K months, 20K, 40, 60, 100, 200. And then it was out of like a real overflow though of like, I remember I went on a retreat one week and did a lot of deep soul work. And then the next day after I got home, I woke up and in 10 minutes, like I downloaded this program that I run called Alchemy. And I just all came to me, straight away. And I knew how to market it and everything. And then a month later, I had a 100K launch. I'd never done that before. So when I say these numbers, it's like, it's not from 50-hour weeks that I used to do. It's from 10 or 15 or so. But from soul, from flow, from downloads and superconscious guidance. And it's a lot more easeful, and it's also more powerful because I'm more energetically aligned. So I can channel beautiful insights and transformations to my clients. My service orientation is stronger. So, but the funny thing is like, I'm more in flow, I'm more in ease. I'm not pushing things, and I'm more in alignment with my clients and service. And the more I do that, the more abundance seems to come, the quicker my business is growing. I used to think before, if I was in my soul and my heart, I'd be all wishy-washy and I wouldn't really go for business and money. It's like the more I'm in it, the more money comes, and the more magnetic. And just like random magnet, like I've got a photo shoot that coming up. My makeup place just offered me a free makeup thing. They didn't even know I should photo shoot. My designer's giving me, like, I'm getting a free fashion design. I'm getting a free designer come to support the shoot. Like, it's just, and I'm like, I'm not even asked for this stuff. Like, there's just so much magnetic opportunities and people, and like, I could talk about so
bringing it in.
Yeah.
Well, where you are now, you've obviously got the coaching, you've got the alchemy course. I want to talk about the retreats because I know people have been on your retreats in the past. You've got one coming up in Fiji. For people who are listening to this in the future, Miranda has many retreats coming up. Just check the show notes for the links. But talk to me about the experiences you take people through on that.
Yeah, well, firstly, like retreats are probably one of my most loved pieces because I've had so many personal transformations on retreats. To mix travel with transformation, I think is the most powerful way of deep immersion and deep work, because I think the land itself, I mean, we've met in Africa and we've done that, and the land itself changes you, and you can get so much wisdom and guidance, and the circle of women that we connect to, the depth in which we connect, it's just straight away within the first hour, it's like they become your best friends, and the safety in that really opens you to the full experience. And because we're on it's a pilgrimage, like that's what my program is with the retreats. And it is a pilgrimage. It's a spiritual pilgrimage to abundance, to deeply connecting to your soul and the universe and the superconscious, and then receiving like downloads and ideas and nudges and inspiration that's just aligned that the universe wants to bring through. And so, with your business or with relationships, I mean, people have got them from all things. We come with the intention for business and money, but everything changes, And so then, yeah, there's so much effect of their own personal transformation, but then what they bring out and how inspired. I've been on retreats to Egypt, different places, and filled up a whole program just because I'm in Egypt, and that's it. I didn't even tell anyone about it. Like, it's just such a powerful experience,
And it's almost like you mentioned before, stepping into the vision of what you want to create. The retreat takes you into a boundary that is so present. Everything else is kind of excluded. So you have that focus on what you want to do.
Yeah. And it's, it's so true with the energetic work as well, is that you really need to cut off from your old life and your old things that remind you of who you are and where you wake up and your routines, and to really deeply transform and embed. And then when you come back into that, like, you can really sustain that shift. So that's why I think for me, retreats have been one of the most powerful things, and I go on my own, retreats at least once or twice a year, every year, just to do that.
Well, thank you so much, Miranda. And, as I said, we're going to put in the show notes information about the retreat and a link to Miranda's website as well. She's got amazing tools and tips and tricks and lots of things that you can connect with her there. Now, Miranda, before you go, just for a bit of fun, a question I ask everyone is, what's something that people would be surprised or don't know about you?
So, I was on Neighbours when I was in year 11, so about 17. A couple of episodes, I met Delta Goodrum, Holly Valance, like, did a bit of speaking, and I was a bit of a bully. So, but I was like kissing a boy in a spa and whatever it was. So, I was a bit naughty on Neighbours a few years ago. I did used to want to be an actor. So that was that experience. And also, I say that I vandalized the Queen's car. God save the, bless the Queen. But I just to give you a bit of context, I'm not a criminal. I was in Nauru. My dad used to work there when he was a pilot there. And there was a palace that we snuck into, my brother and I, when we were like 7 or something. And there was the Queen. The Queen's been there a few times. And so that's the car she used. Apparently, we found out later, but we drew our fingers all over it when it was all dusty. That's all we did. And then these guards came with these big guns and chased us out, and we were freaked out. And so, we found out later that's why.
You graffitied the Queen's car with dust.
With our dust finger, so it wasn't as bad.
Well, thank you so much for being a guest on Exit the Matrix. I think your story of, the moment and all the work and the trials and tribulations that you'd been through, and then that kind of moment where there's an awareness of creating and bringing abundance into your life is something that's really going to inspire people. So thank you so very much, Miranda. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for your beautiful questions.
And everyone, as always, here is to your success. And if you would like to help us, then I really encourage you to please go to the iTunes, Apple website, podcast, where you listen to the podcast, go into the episode, scroll down the bottom, hit the 5 stars, give us a review. Let's crack the algorithm and win one for the good guys, and share these stories of success, because these stories are created so that we can actually share and inspire, the stories for other people to start their own stories of success as well. And also head over to exitthematrix.io, subscribe so we can tell you when the next great guest will be coming along as well. So as always, here's to your success. Thank you, and till next time, bye for now.
Thank you for listening to Exit the Matrix, Stories of Success. Make sure you subscribe to future episodes at www.exitthematrix.io. Until next time, here's to your success.